I'm going to go ahead and get started, and I'm going to press record. Now I'm going to share my screen so that you guys can see what I'm looking at here. All right, so the first thing that I usually do on these calls is just kind of explain who I am, just because it's kind of hard to hear what coaching is about from someone who you don't actually know who they are. But I'm Lauren Brzezinski, and I've been a coach for about 3 years, a little bit over 3 years now. But just to kind of give you an overview, I married my husband Josh in 2011, so that's creeping up on 8 years here this summer, which is crazy. I started off my life teaching English. When I was in college, it wasn't like, hey, what do you want to do? I don't know. Let me look on Instagram and see what jobs are out there. That just wasn't a thing. When I was in college, you went and you got a degree in something that was very tangible. And the weirdest thing you could get at the time really was just a marketing degree, that you could do something like this with. I didn't go to school to be a Beachbody coach. I didn't go to school to do online marketing. That was nothing I thought I would ever really want to do. I liked writing. I liked the youth group age kids that I was helping at church. And so I thought, well, I'll be an English teacher. So that works for me. Didn't really love it. Clearly did not really love it. And so I just very quickly it happened after the miscarriages that I had. I had 2 in 2013, one in the spring while I was teaching in the high school, and then one in the fall when I had moved to the middle school. And when you go through tragedy, if any of you watching the call have ever been through a tragedy, you just know how it kind of changes everything. Suddenly everything is different. Everything has a different meaning. And so that's what had happened for me and my husband. We're teaching and we were this will be fine. We can do this the rest of our lives. And then suddenly it was life is really short. Is this really what we feel like God has called us to do? Is this really what we wanted? Especially for me, not so much for my husband. He still really was loving teaching at the time and loving coaching baseball and stuff. And so he stuck with it and he still enjoyed it. But I was just not there. All I could think about anymore was my family, or was I ever going to have a family? I just couldn't really focus on teaching grammar and syntax. I was so focused on what am I really here for? What's my real purpose? And so a lot of things started just changing and falling into place. If I'm totally honest, I really feel like God used that to totally change and move me in a different direction, which is what I'm in now. I did end up through nutrition, which is why I'm so obsessed with good nutrition. I ended up learning that the reason I couldn't have kids was because of I wasn't able to absorb one of the nutrients that's vital for pregnancy, called folate or folic acid. And so that was my issue. So through proper nutrition, I was able to have a normal, completely healthy pregnancy, and it resulted in having our first son, who's named John, in December of 2014. And so of course, when I finally get pregnant and I know this pregnancy is healthy and it's going to stay and we're going to hold this baby, obviously I started making a move career wise. I was I cannot just be a teacher. And by the way, just to add on to it, if you're a teacher, I don't know how many people know this, but when you're a teacher, you have 5 years to start getting a graduate degree, or you actually lose your teaching license. So you have to continue going back to school in order to keep your teaching license. So I had already started my graduate degree. So I was a full-time grad student. I had a full-time job and I was pregnant. I knew a baby was coming. And so I was I cannot be a good present mom and do those other 2 things. Something has to go. And I was really concerned and didn't really know what that should be. And it did not feel responsible at all. It did not feel smart and wise to quit a teaching job, because you already know those are not the highest paying jobs in the world, especially when my husband was also a teacher. So I was I really don't know what to do here. This is a bad deal, honestly. It felt like I was stuck. I was praying to God and just really trying to figure out some things. And I was God, you're going to have to decide for me. I don't know how to decide, because I feel irresponsible quitting this job. You've provided this job to pay the bills. If I just need to suck it up and work a job, I'll do it. And sure enough, my boss came in, my principal came in 2 or 3 weeks later And he was like, she said, I really hate to do this, but we have to cut a position, and yours is the position that we have to cut because yours is the extra. And so we can't rehire you. And I was like, praise God. Like, it was like exactly what I needed to hear. And so thank the Lord, he showed me what I needed to do so clearly. So I ended up quitting my job, staying home with my son, which is what I felt called to do, as I've made clear. But at the same time, we all know that motherhood is not like a field of daisies and roses. And I battled a lot of loneliness because we had actually, in that time of me quitting, we actually moved to a new town as well. And even though it was only 45 minutes away from where I grew up, and I was actually very familiar here in Paducah, I didn't have any friends here. And so I had to drive 45 minutes to get close to my friends, and I was left out of everything. And to be honest, like, even looking back, my friend circle in Murray was toxic anyway, so I didn't need to be going back. Once I got out, I kind of like I saw what was really going on. And so it was just a lot of like, just a whirlwind of emotions. And I was battling postpartum depression, just like we all do to some degree, I believe, and super lonely. And I was like, well, this stinks. Like, I thought this was going to be just awesome with me staying home with my baby all day. And it was like, I was not complaining about the staying home with my baby part, but I was very upset about how lonely and just kind of sad it was. Like, you don't have a routine to go to a job. You don't have something to get dressed up for. Like, it's very quick to spiral down. And so I knew how to eat healthy since previously, like, I had to get healthy to have a kid. But I wasn't motivated to eat healthy. I wasn't motivated to work out, and I loved working out. I wasn't motivated to do anything because I just didn't have the missing key, which is what I found was like accountability and friendship. So one of my friends ends up finally messaging me, and she's like, hey, I started doing this thing called the 21-Day Fix, because that was like the program at the time that you just did, which I'm actually getting ready to do again soon here. But she's like, I'm doing the 21-Day Fix. I thought maybe you'd like to do it with me. And I was like, okay, sure, fine. And so sure enough, I get in this group. I have something that I like. There's a workout to do every day. There is a meal plan that is customizable to foods that I actually like. I get to pick the foods I like and put it into my own meal plan. The recipes are amazing. Shakeology blew my mind. And by the way, guys, like, I'm kind of like crunchy granola a little bit. And so I was not planning. Like, I got Shakeology in that initial challenge pack because it was cheaper that way, but then I was never planning on ordering it again. And I told her that. I was like, I'm not going to order this again. It's ridiculously priced. But after I like researched it and got it and tried it, I was like, okay, maybe I will, because it actually helped me get even healthier from my whole folate issue. But that's a different story. I'm not going to take up your time with that tonight. And so anyways, I was like, I'm not going to do this. And of course I ended up loving it. And here I am 3 years later. I lost inches. So you can see in this first picture here, like, this was my first 21-day fix. I'm still blown away at like how differently a bra can fit just after losing a few pounds, but there it is. So there's my first before and after. And then sure enough, I found out right after, like literally the day I took that after photo, I was pregnant again. So there's that. But then, so that bottom picture here is basically my after photo, or my before photo was after my second kid again. Cause we all start from square one with that again. And then this is where I've gotten to from there. And I've actually even gotten more toned since then. That was actually last summer. And so for this year ahead, like, I've just fallen in love with weightlifting and stuff with the programs that we have. So there's that. But so what I really loved, like, it's anyone's capable of a good before and after with good nutrition and good programs. But what really stuck with me was the community. We have what is called challenge groups. And so what you do is it gives you somewhere to go every day to say that you've done your workout, tell how it went, say that you've had your Shakeology, how did you make it, and then just like talk about things that are real and raw and that happen. And so there's like that's the basics of what it was and what drew me in. So just like a little backstory of Beachbody. So that these are the programs when I talk about 21-Day Fix and P90X and all those things, this is what I'm talking about. I think it was, they're 1998. There we go. John Congdon and Carl Deichler founded Beachbody. And they did that just with those, you know, like, I mean, you've seen the infomercials with like P90X DVDs and the equipment that comes with them. Like, that's all it was. It was just, hey, we need to get actual programs in the hands of people who like have no clue how to work out. And so that's how it started. It was just, we want to help people get healthy from their living rooms or take it to a gym, whatever they want to do. But here are some awesome workout programs. And so they started off with that. Well, what ended up happening was people, when the internet got really big, people started these online forums that were like basically the first accountability groups, where they would find other people doing P90X or Slim and Six or these old programs that no one even knows what they are anymore. But they would find these old programs. They would Google, before Google was Google, I think, even. But they would find these forums and they would just say, I'm doing this workout today. Is anyone else doing this workout? And they would hold each other accountable and ask questions and share recipes. And Beachbody took notice of that. And what ended up happening was a lot of these people who were like heading up these forums contacted Beachbody and was like, hey, like, I'm basically like running these things for your products. Is there any way we can get like some commission for this or something? Is there something that you can do to like help pay for all the work we're putting in? And so in 2007, that's when the network launched. So Team Beachbody launched in 2007, which is the network marketing portion of Beachbody, because so many customers were begging for it, because it was already kind of happening naturally. We were already selling to our friends. We just weren't getting any commission from it. And so, and when I say selling, I mean just sharing something that was really working. So we were already like telling everyone else about it. So you might as well make a commission from something that you love and something that's working for you. So that's how the network began. And then there's also Team Beachbody Live, where you can actually get certified to teach these classes in a gym that's local to you, which I did for a little bit, but just with under two, it was not working out for me. So I did not keep doing it for very long. But you can get certified in these programs, and it's super fun. So yeah, there's P90X, there's 21 Day Fix, there's Body Beast, which is a lifting program, there's PiYo, Size, T25. Our newest one's Transform 20. You've probably seen something about the 80-Day Obsession. So anything like related to that, any like workout DVD that you've seen, has probably been a Beachbody program. We also have a lot of nutritionals and supplements, like Shakeology is our biggest one, and I'll tell you more about that later. But we've also got some like the Ultimate Refresh, which is a cleanse, the 3-Day Refresh, which is a cleanse. It's a much shorter version, obviously. But then you get all of so like I said, we used to do DVDs. Like when I signed up to do this, I was buying DVDs, but then a year and a half ago, we switched to all online. And so it's basically like we compare it to Netflix. So if Netflix had a workout sister, it would be Beachbody. And I wanted to show you guys really quick what our challenge groups actually look like. So I'm sitting here saying challenge groups. So what does it look like? So Beachbody gives us, when you sign up to be a coach, they give us access to this app. So you're looking at it here on a desktop, but this is actually an app for our challengers. And so when they open up their phone, this is what it looks like. It's just everyone checking in, which you're going to see some sweaty selfies here, telling how their workouts went, asking questions about the moves, talking about how they made their Shakeology for the day. She's always got sweat dripping off her nose. So like it's just a challenge group, and I could load more, but basically I check in once a day. I make a post, which I give my coaches a template on how to make those posts so you're not just like left hanging. But I check in and I make a post, and then I check in on my challengers to see how they're doing. So from there, what do coaches do? Basically, we do the programs, we do the nutrition, we drink Shakeology or the Performance line, and then we help other people do that too. So we support our clients as they learn and incorporate the same programs that we've been doing. We run online accountability and support groups called challenges or boot camps. You'll see coaches saying different things, but right now I'm calling them boot camps because that seems to be like the fun word to use right now. But so I'm calling them boot camps. And I have a lot of girls, by the way, who choose to be coached one-on-one. Like I just check in with them once a week or once every 2 weeks, and they just prefer that. And so that's fine too. I keep them accountable how they want to be kept accountable. You can teach Beachbody Live classes if you want to get certified to do that. That's also another thing. But the biggest thing we do is we lead by example. And so we're always admitting that we're a work in progress. We're always showing them what it looks like to really show up for yourself, and showing them that, like, hey, meal prepping is not easy. Like, I'm sitting here at 9 o'clock at night. I don't really want to be doing this right now, but if I want to set myself up for a good week, this is how I do it. Or showing them what's in our grocery cart, or showing them that this workout, like right now, our workout's only 20 minutes a day. Like, if you can't do 20 minutes a day, then I don't really know if you'll ever be able to do anything. You know what I mean? So, like, we just walk them through it and show them, here's how so for me, here's how a normal mom of 2 little boys makes this work. And so if I can make this work, I can guide you to show you how this works as well. And so that's what we do. It's really fun. I mean, there's a slight learning curve, but it's mostly just all fun. Okay, here are some misconceptions that people have about Beachbody and coaches in general, or just MLMs in general, really. But basically, the biggest one I get is that it's a pyramid scheme, or that it's like you have to, like, I don't know, scam people out of their money. So it's that first 2 things. Like, that's what I get the most. So first of all, just to, like, make this, like, I don't know, really paint a picture here. A pyramid scheme is illegal. They are actually completely 100% illegal, and Beachbody is BBB certified, so Better Business Bureau certified, which says that we are a true business. Like, we are a real business, just like, you know, anything else. And we were before the network marketing portion of it began. And so a pyramid scheme, what that is that's where you have someone that calls you and they're like, hey, I've got this investment that you can make into this company, but you have to, like, pay $500. And then you have to call 2 people and have them pay you $500, and there's not an exchange of a product. And you can see very quickly why that's illegal, because you're basically just asking people for $500 and giving them nothing in return, and then suddenly they don't know what their money went to, or, like, it's very shady, and they're illegal for that reason. And then a scam, not a scam, because it works. Like, if you go to the Team Beachbody website, you will see thousands upon thousands of before and after photos of people whose lives have changed. And a lot of times I get, like, I think I made a post about this a little while ago, but I get that, oh, well, Lauren, you were never fat, or you were never out of shape. And I'm like, first of all, I beg to differ. Second of all, like, I've seen people lose hundreds of pounds with this. I've seen people gain weight with this who needed to gain weight. I've seen people stay the exact same weight but get muscle tone. Like, it really does meet you where you are and build or lose or shred or whatever it is that you need. So it's not a scam. Like, I've seen this work countless times throughout the years for other people, and it continues to work for me. And I tell my husband all the time, like, the minute that this is not working for someone, or, like, it stops working for me or whatever, like, I'm out. But it just keeps working and I don't know, I keep getting healthier. Our family keeps getting healthier. I see other families getting healthier. It's just such a ripple effect. The other thing too, I hear are, like, the products are overpriced. This would be an entirely separate call that I could do on this, but Shakeology is about $4 a serving. So for a month supply, it's $130. As a coach, you get that for $119. So it's a little bit discounted. But the reason that it costs so much, the reason that it is such a high value, is because we go to the actual countries where the ingredients are grown and have relationships with those farmers. So that the reason why we do that is because we know that the soil for those ingredients is best where they originate from. So, like, we take that much care into the product. And that's why I was like, oh, okay, maybe this is worth it. And so really what I do with Shakeology is I budget it into my grocery bill. Like, it is a crucial part of my nutrition. So I budget that in and I make it work. And not to mention, when you're sharing this with other people, it'll pay for itself, because people will be ordering from you and you'll basically get the product paid for in that sense. So, but even if I wasn't even if I couldn't make that money back, it would still be worth it to me because of the energy it's given to me. And the other idea is because, and here's where people are like, what with Shakeology? It's not a protein shake. It does have protein in it, but the emphasis is on the nutrients in it. So the superfoods that are put in there, like camu camu and moringa and like just, I mean, so many things that are exotic superfoods. And the reason why those are put in our shakes is because they actually carry more nutrient value than even broccoli or cauliflower or carrots. Like there is more vitamin A in some of those ingredients than any carrot would have. And that's why they're called superfoods. And so that's why there's an emphasis on that. And the idea and the actual science behind it is that if you are getting your nutrient needs met, your body stops craving things. So like what usually ends up happening on diets or whatever you want to call them is that people will say, okay, I want to lose weight, so let's just cut back on calories. And when you do that, like obviously that makes perfect sense, and that is what you still have to do to lose weight. But when you cut back on calories, you also cut back on nutrients, and your body needs nutrients. And so the idea of Shakeology is it allows you to cut back your calories but still have all the nutrients so that your body doesn't scream at you when you cut those calories. It's still getting plenty of more nutrients than ever, but it's still getting those nutrients, so it stops screaming at you to keep feeding it because it's getting those nutrients. So it's been really crazy, like just having it for 3 years and just really seeing like the difference it makes. I actually went for 2 weeks without it over Christmas because I was just like, I don't want shakes. I'm just going to see whatever. And by the time those 2 weeks were up, I was like, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready. Give me my shakes back. Like I'm tired. I'm drained. I can't get out of bed, all sorts of things. So that is, that's my small spiel on Shakeology. I could go all day on that. Another thing that I get, like this is the biggest one every time, like I'm talking to a potential coach on the phone or anything, is I don't want to sell on social media. Girl, I totally get that. My biggest pet peeve is when one of my friends starts selling something and then all of a sudden their feed goes from like their family and their life to bottles of lotion or shampoo or a shake even, or just whatever, where it's like, where did you go? Like I see this product all over your feed, but where did you go? And so I never want my coaches, and this is what I mentor them to do. I mentor my coaches to continue being themselves, but being a better version of themselves because they have what they need to be healthy and excited and energized. And so I train my coaches on social media to never post pictures of the product, actually. Like that's my number one thing is do not show the product to your people. Don't do that. Just tell them what it's doing for you. And don't do that every day. Just do it whenever it seems I mean, probably if you're on this call, you've probably seen my social media posts. And so you see what I'm talking about. Like I definitely talk about how I feel from it, but I do not like show you like my shake in pictures every day. Like no one wants to see that. And so I don't want you to sell on social media either. I want you to show how this has influenced you, but I do not want you to like have product all over your account. I'll actually tell you to stop it if you do that. And then another thing is I don't know what to post on social media. And that's another thing I train my coaches on, is how to create really good content. Once again, it's not spammy and annoying and weird, but really good content on like authentic ways to share what it is you're doing. And then another one, you have to be on your phone all the time. I will say that for me, it's easier to do most of my work on my phone, but I make sure to be very aware of being on it around my kids, around my husband, and not let it take up our time as a family, because that is opposite of what this business is doing for me. The reason I want this business is for freedom to be with my family. I don't want to also now be chained to a business. So I actually have set business hours that I work. My husband and I'm like, I tell him, like, here's what your day looks like. Do you think this could be like a good business hour or business, we call business pockets, because with kids as young as we have, like, I'm not going to ever get full hours to sit down, but just like I have little moments where I know that I can do a little bit of work, and my husband helps me with that and supports me with that. So I work as a business builder coach, as someone who's really growing the business, about 3 hours a day. But in the beginning, it was about an hour, and it was like 15 minutes at a time. It wasn't even a full like sit down out. Like it was just, oh, I have 15 minutes, I can do this. Oh, I have 20 minutes, I can do this. And so that's how it was at the beginning, because like I said, I had a kid, I was pregnant, I was in grad school, and my grad school was an hour away, so I actually had to drive. And then I also had an internship in there as well. So yes, like time is an issue, but you make it work, and you just have to be proactive to schedule that time and make sure that you don't spend the biggest thing is just don't get on Instagram and Facebook just to scroll. You get on there with like a set purpose in mind, and then that way you're not stuck like 20 minutes later in the black hole of Instagram, like, what just happened? Where did I go? And so that way you don't waste time. So those are all the things that I get the questions about the most, and so I just wanted to touch on those. And then here's the other big questions, obviously, is how do you earn? So initially, just as like a coach, you're starting off, it's day one, you will earn 25% of anything that you sell. So our biggest things, the things that make the most sense for us to sell are what's called challenge packs. Those are the lowest one for that is $160, and you would earn $50, which is actually more than 25%. So you earn more on challenge packs. But like, let's say you sell, I don't know, access to Beachbody on demand for $99, you get $25. And so that's how that works. And I actually think it may be more than that. They may have upped the percentage now that I think about it. But usually the lowest you'll get is 25%. It may be 40% now. I don't remember. So you earn through challenge pack bonuses as well. And then you can also earn, once you start growing your business to where you are mentoring girls to also coach, that's when you start earning like extra bonuses on top of your commission. So not only will you earn commissions, you will also just get extra money just for having a team that has volume as well, which that's super fun. Growing a team, like once you get to that point where you're ready, it is super fun to find other women who are just like you, who love it and it's working for them, and they are just as excited to sell it. And the reason why I'm going to share that really quick, the reason why that is so fun is because you get to do stuff like this. Go to Coach Summit. This is something my coaches and I are looking forward to going to in July, the 11th through the 14th. And literally as soon as you sign up, you are eligible to buy a ticket to come to this. But this is what we do in the summers. And so if you want to look this up later, it's just coachsummit.com. You can check it out and look through everything and just kind of see what it's about. But basically all the trainers that we work with will be there, and you get to pick a workout with one of the trainers. And then on top of that, on Saturday, we have, you can see right there, what's called Super Workout, where we all work out on the streets of Indianapolis. And all the trainers come out, and we get to work out with all the trainers. It is super, super fun. And then you get a lot of business training there as well. That's the biggest part, is just getting some business training and really seeing what Beachbody is all about. The second thing, once you start growing a team and really start growing an income and being being a huge influence, is they take you on what's called these Anchors Away, these Success Club trips. And so this year it is a trip to on Royal Caribbean, and it's a 5-night trip. And I kid you not when I say that this is 100% paid for by Beachbody, and I'm going on this year. It's not that way for all coaches. You have to earn it, but I show my coaches, I'm very, very transparent with my coaches on how you earn this and ways that you can do this. But this is something that can be earned completely free. The only thing we have to pay for is just the gas to get there. And then next year it'll be in Punta Cana, and I've already started earning that for the 2020 year. But things I just didn't think were possible, but they are. And so like what's cool is like the community with all of this. Like I get to go hang out with a lot of my coaches on my team on this trip and do all sorts of fun stuff. So I just wanted to share that kind of stuff to show you like it really is a community thing. Like you start small with these challenge groups, and then suddenly you're growing a team because women are naturally wanting to do this with you. and then you're going to Summit with all your friends, and it's just super, super fun. So to wrap all that up, how do you join? I'm going to move these little boxes up just a little bit. All right, you can join by simply buying a challenge pack. So you would begin your own health and fitness journey with us. So the step one would be obviously joining a challenge group. And you can do that as a coach and a challenger at the same time, so that I would be mentoring you immediately. But you would purchase a challenge pack, and like I said, those usually run around $160, and they go up from there. So I'll show you options that you can look at. But then after that, you receive 25% off of all the products that you order from that point on. So just to give you an idea of how that works, Shakeology is $129. With after shipping and tax, it's $139 for just the normal average person on the street. For me as a coach, I get that for $105.43. So that is what mine comes to. That's after shipping and taxes. But if you see that last little star there at the very bottom down here, I do also pay a $16.95 fee for my back office or coach relation services. And what that means, and that's what usually throws, if I get any objections about coaching, that's the biggest one, is that they don't want to pay the fee each month. So I pay $105 for Shakeology each month, and then $16.95. That's my total fees every single month. Shakeology, I want that anyway. Like, I want Shakeology anyway. So I don't ever bulk about Shakeology. But that $16.95 fee, a lot of times people are like, what? What's that for? And here's what that's for. You see a lot of MLM companies where they have to like buy tons and tons of stock and store it. And then people buy from them, and then they have to ship it. And then people return things, and then they have to ship that back to their company. And they have to run their own back office and all sorts of stuff. And so I don't like to deal with that. I like to send my people a link and say, here, order. And then what Beachbody does is Beachbody ships it. And Beachbody does all that. So basically, my overhead fees for my business is $16.95 a month. That gives me a website. That gives me coach relations that handles all my customers' problems for me. So that if they're like, hey, my shipment never came, I'm like, cool, let me call and they will figure it out. And so they do that for me. It's all the people who are sending my paycheck each month. It's for all the people, like, it is totally worth it to me. Coming from, like, I'm a girl whose parents own 2 businesses. So I see overhead fees and I'm like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I get to run a business for only $17 a month. Like, my parents are paying electricity and they're paying rent and they're paying water and taxes. And I'm like, oh, I only have to pay $17 and all my problems are taken care of. So that is what I look at that $17 as. And then with Shakeology, a lot of coaches are like, well, I don't want to have to order it every month. And the idea behind that is that you want to be a product of the product. Like, for example, if I was, actually, I'll use my parents' business. So my parents own a coffee shop. I would expect if I had people who were working for me in the coffee shop, like, for them to only be buying coffee from me, if that makes sense. I would not want them to either be non-coffee drinkers or be buying coffee from Walmart. So the idea is that, if I have people working for me, they understand the quality of what I sell. And so the idea is, the reason why you need to have a Shakeology order is because they want to ensure that the people who are selling their products also practice what they preach. So that's kind of the idea behind that as well. Because at first, like, it just kind of throws a lot of people back that they need to have an active order. Now, on the plus side of that, if it's a hard month and you're like, I just cannot do Shakeology this month, you can delay it for a month. So you can skip a month's order and not pay for it. It will not charge you anything. And you will still get your commissions. You just won't get any bonuses, if that makes sense. So you'll still get commissions. If you make a sale, you'll still get that money from that sale. They will not withhold any payment from you. They just won't give you any extra money on top of that, which is what those bonuses are. So I hope that makes sense. It's kind of like, I don't know. It's a little too deep for just an intro coaching call, but I want to give you all the information. All right. And then here are your options. Once again, you can be just a regular discount coach. So like say you want to do the fitness programs and everything, you want to drink Shakeology, you want to get the discount, but you don't want to sell anything, you would be a discount coach. Some people, and a lot of my coaches are hobby coaches where they love the products and they share them with others and they run challenge groups, but they don't necessarily build a team underneath them. Those are my hobby coaches. They get extra spending cash from any sales they make, but they're not here to like make this a full-time income. Then there's me and some other girls on my team who are business builders where we go all in. This is our full-time job. We are committed to doing the work that it takes to build and grow a team, which is stuff like this, which is sharing with you guys. So we run challenge groups, and then we also mentor other women to run challenge groups as well. So that would be a business builder. That's where you would actually start making an income that would make a difference for your family, which I train for all 3 levels, obviously. Here are some, like this is a very honest look as some of the coaches on our team. This is some of the coaches who are actually ahead of me in the business. They've been working it a little bit longer, and they were doing, I was actually, just to give you guys a like heads up here, I was a hobby coach. I was not a business building coach for a very long time. It's only been this past year that I've been a business building coach. But these are like real examples of women who are within my team that have been business builders longer than me. So like here, this is Kimberly. She went from her first month as a coach, $190. And then that second year, same month, $480. And then the next year, that was her income. And this is weekly, by the way. That's what she was making per week on this date. Okay. And then this is per month. So this is her monthly income progression. Her first month in the business, she made $89. That sounds a lot like me. And then the next year, the same month, $1,700. And then the next year, $2,100. And then the next year, $4,500. And so that's once again, that's being a business building coach who like purposefully put in action and made consistent strides. This is me. This past July, in July of 2017, I made $700. In July of 2018, I made $1,400. And just to give you, like, I went and looked at this past month just so I could compare January this month with last January. Last January, I made, I think it was $1,200. And then this January, I made literally $1 short of $2,000. So for me, that is more than enough to cover what I would have been making as a teacher after paying for childcare costs. So like to me, like now I'm breaking even of what I would be if I was a full-time teacher, which is awesome because I'm only putting in like 2 or 3 hours a day. So totally worth it for me. And once again, like I train my coaches to do this as well. So when you choose to join our team, which is Team United Legacy, that is our movement that we have going on, you get to enroll in a New Coach University, which is a 14-day training where I walk you through launching your business professionally. So it's not going to be just I'm throwing you out to the wolves. Like I help you launch your business professionally. We have weekly team calls where I teach and train, and you guys ask questions and we get things figured out, and we have mastermind sessions that way. You get access to an in-depth coach training site that goes even deeper than what I go through in that 14-day New Coach University. You and I would have one-on-one calls where we talk about your business specifically and how you want to grow and your goals for your business. And then I also teach you how to set goals because I know that's hard to even know how to set goals sometimes. I give you access to all my resources, documents, guides, and anything that I use is yours when you start your coaching business. And then I also give you guys trainings from the top coaches in the organization. And then what's really just the best part is just the community of women that cares about each other and wants the best for each other. And that was the turning point for me with fitness, was having women who had my back. And so that's been the best part for me. So here's what you do. What you do next is you message the person who invited you to this call. You let them know what kind of coach you want to be. Then we set up a time, whether that's with me or the coach that invited you to this, to walk you through the enrollment process, and we'll send you an email to do that as well. Then if you want to be a hobby or a business builder, then you'll ask to go into that Coach University, and we'll get you set up there, and you'll be an apprentice in the next challenge group or boot camp, so that you get the firsthand experience, but without having to post yourself. We just walk you through what that looks like. So I guess overall, like if I had to say, at worst, you will get really, really fit and really, really healthy. At best, you will get really, really fit and healthy and also create an income for your family. So that's how that works. Once again, there's like no rush for this. You know, if you want to sit and take this information and wait a month and just see and kind of look around and figure things out, that's totally cool too. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and open it for questions if you have any.